the awesome, awesome pleasure of introducing a dear friend. About a decade ago, we met Miss Jessica Kinsella, actually Mrs. Jessica Kinsella, who is a phenomenal woman with a heart of gold, serious passion for helping people, and specifically other women and twin moms or multiple moms, which we share in common, and I love that. She is the founder and owner of Same Kids, and she is absolutely, positively a woman on a mission. So that's why she's here with us today on Discovering W.I.S.E. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes, I'm excited to have you too. And I know that you're going to have some nuggets that the folks listening are going to take away that will help encourage and inspire them. Tell us a little bit, Jess, about this mission that you're on with Same Kids.
You know, I always said that I was never going to be the mom that matched her kids. I'm just going to buy regular clothes and they can wear whatever they want. And then we ended up with fraternal twin boys. They look nothing alike. Nothing. I have a brown-eyed, I have a blue-eyed, I have a blondie, I have a dark hair, I have a round head, I have a skinny head. They look different. I mean, they're the same height, thank goodness, and they're in the same size clothes. And the first time I put on that matching outfit, I was like, oh my gosh, forever. And they look so cute. And that's how it started. And they have probably worn like 3 outfits in the last 2 years that didn't match. And that's really in the privacy of our own home. And I have hoarded all of these clothes, all of them. And I went to all of these different moms' websites to try to see how to sell these matching clothes because it's kind of a thing. And baby clothes are expensive. Matching even is more expensive because how do you sell 2 of one thing unless it's to another mom? And so there's these Facebook marketplace websites where you can upload and take pictures and do all this stuff within Facebook. And I tried doing it like 4 times and I was so overwhelmed and stressed out that I just couldn't. And all of the things just started to pile up. And I walked into our guest bedroom because I was going to have someone come over, and the whole room was filled with paper bags filled with clothes. And I'm like, there has to be a solution. And that's how Same Kids became, was that I was looking for a solution to my own problem, thinking I cannot be the only one who wants to sell or resell these twin clothes. And then it just got bigger. My brain couldn't turn it off. I just kept thinking, well, in all of these Facebook groups or all these spaces, online forums, moms are asking all these questions because breastfeeding 2 babies at the same time, bottle feeding 2 babies, sleep training 2 babies, teaching 2 babies of the same age.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So I was looking, I'm like, why couldn't Same Kids be more than just a clothing resale? Why couldn't it be a resource for moms where they can ask questions in this safe, private space? Or I can give them the resources from all of the research that I've done, that other moms of multiples have done in one space. There's a lot of websites out there that are focused just on twins or just on triplets. And my mission overall was to create a space of resources for moms that isn't on Facebook.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about what that community might look like for you when it's fully developed and that space exists for moms where they're communicating the way you'd like them to. What problems are getting solved there?
I think it's support. I think moms want other moms to tell them that they're doing a good job. And I will be anyone's cheerleader. And I know there's so many other moms out there that feel the same way, that when you're in the weeds, when you bring that those 2 newborns home or those 3 newborns home and you have no idea what you're doing, other moms to tell you that it gets better and that you're doing a great job and you're not a failure. I mean, I'm 2 years in and I still question whether or not I'm doing a good job or not. And to have other moms tell me like, you're doing great.
Yep.
It resonates with me. And I know that I can't be the only one that needs to hear that you are a good mom. And I think I want that safe space for moms to realize like, we are here to support each other.
Yeah. That's phenomenal. Well, I would tell you I'm 11 years in, almost 12 years in, and I still question those things with my twins some days, right? And you have different questions. I mean, I have a number of older children, and those older children are different than having twins. You and I have had that discussion. It's just an entirely different environment. So to have that space for those mothers of multiples is awesome. Jess, describe for me, and I've known you, like I said, for a number of years outside of you being a twin mom, but I know excellence is something that has always been a part of your core, right? Doing things with excellence. What does excellence mean to you?
You hear all these mantras and all these quotes about, strive for excellence. And I honestly think that until I had children, until I became a mother, like any mother, I don't know if excellence means anything to me anymore. I think that striving for, I get it. I get the core of striving for excellence, but I think that I've never tried to necessarily be excellent or perfect. I've always just wanted to do my best and be a good person. So once I became a mom, I realized that doing your best is excellence, because that is your best. You giving it your absolute all means that, and that is, so the level of excellence, I think, means like just making sure that at the end of the day, when you lay down your head at night, you know that you did everything in your power to be a good person, to help other people. So excellence to me just means giving it everything.
Everything you got.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that. When you think about your mission and measuring how you're doing, as you know, in the coach's chair, in my world, we're always talking about what gets measured gets done, right? So how do you measure how you're doing on your mission?
Statistics, analytics, backdoor numbers from websites. I nerd out over that stuff because it means that you're reaching people and that you're growing. It has nothing to do with the amount of clothing that is sold. I honestly think that for me to measure success of the company is going to be the amount of site traffic that the resource page gets, because that's going to be where people are looking for answers and looking for help and looking for someone to tell them. So I think it's going to be the same kids website growth and daily traffic. How often are people utilizing the resources page to help?
That's great. That's great, because it boils down to, and I love how you said that, right? The numbers tell the story of who's connecting, right? Who's getting the help that they're out there seeking, which is what your mission is. As you think about your journey in business and in life, Jess, has there been, or is there a daily mantra? I love how you say you've thought about excellence and you thought about it before, and post kids that looks different. As you think about your days, is there a quote, an affirmation, some sort of mantra, if you will, for Jessica Kinsella?
I have always, this is even before kids, don't complain about something you have control over. Because if there is something that you don't like, change it. Try to fix it. Try to accomplish it in a different, or taking a different avenue and trying to make it better. But I think a lot of people will sit back and complain about something. And then if you poke the bear and you ask them those questions, like, well, what did you do? Did you talk to her? Did you try this? Did you try that? They're like, well, no. I'm like, well, you can't be upset if you're not trying different avenues. So I think for me that's always been my favorite quote, because every situation can be made better when you take action.
Yeah. That's
So it
right.
might not be the exact end answer that you're looking for, but it can be made better by just taking a small step.
Yeah. Focusing on what you can do, right, to
Yeah,
make a difference.
absolutely.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody that I talk to that has achieved some level of success in life or business, and even you and I in a prior conversation that I can think about have talked about, hey, what do you do on a daily basis? Right? That, and I always, it's the definition of discipline, right? It's doing the things that you know you need to do, whether you want to do them or not. And I reference those as non negotiables. Tell us about non negotiable practices that you have in your life that are aiding your mission.
Education, like 1000% education. And then adding to it was probably like asking for help and guidance, looking for mentors and coaches. The old quote, knowledge is power, is so overused. I think everybody in the world uses that quote at some point in time, but it's so true. I would be absolutely silly to think that I could get better or grow as an individual by doing nothing. So I like to read and research and listen to podcasts. I probably 1 to 4 hours per day is spent researching YouTube videos, webinars, anything I can get my hands on. But and you and I have talked about this before, I am very aware that just because someone has the ability to put something on the internet or write a book does not mean that their message is valid or is
Right.
useful. So I first do a lot of research and vetting of who I listen to, because to be completely honest, I'm very gullible. I just believe that everyone's going to be honest. Like, why would
Sure.
anybody lie to me or guide me in the wrong way? And I think that that's also very important when we're putting out resources and messages to people, is that we're not guiding people in the wrong way. So why would I allow someone else to do that for me? So I consume so much education on how to be, I mean, not even just to be a better business owner, but to be a better mom or
Sure.
to be a better friend or anything like that, just to be better.
Well, I think that I'm a lifelong learner myself. You know that about me. It's something that I'm truly vested in as well. So I agree with you 100%. Tell the listeners a little bit about how it is that you vet people. I mean, what does that look like as you work to vet those who you are going to receive? Give a little bit of what that process is.
You know, at first, I think I was a little bit more naive because I was like, oh, New York Times best-selling author. They have
Right.
to be great, right? So really, I think that, and obviously Wikipedia pages are based off of people's input, and a
Right.
lot of Wikipedia pages are wrong as well. I want to know, there's two ways that I look at it. One is that if you've built a successful, I can speak,
That's good.
successful career based on at least like a business, I can gauge your business success on that. But I also go as far as to look at their company roster. Who's your CEO? Who's your CFO? Like, are you taking credit for all of the things that your employees helped build for you? But the other resource that I look up is articles that were written by them, by newspapers, and like what people are saying about these writers or about these entrepreneurs. So, I mean, it's the same thing. I have to vet the reporters who are reporting on these
Sure.
stories. I think that it's just important for us to choose wisely who we're allowing to guide us
No,
in
I
these things.
I agree 100%. And I think that obviously each one of us has a different set of values and compass, and we're going to be attracted to different people. But knowing where we're getting information from, who we're getting it from, and what their story really is vital, right? So,
Well, I think it's funny because there was a quote that was like 68.96% of all statistics are made up. That's the truth. Anytime someone's quoting a statistic, typically they don't remember what it actually was. So they just
Right.
make up that number to get their story across. I'm like, do most people do that?
Probably,
Yeah.
probably. Well, in terms of, I love that mindset, and it's a great segue into this next question. But, in general, there is a mindset that we take on as we go through our days. If you had to describe yourself and something that you would want to share with other women around mindset, what would that message be?
Honestly, I thought about this for quite a while because your mindset, ha- having a good mindset is going to decipher how the rest of your day is going to be. So our nanny was here and one morning and I went and grabbed a cup of coffee and I took a sip of it and I walked out and she was already sitting on the couch drinking coffee. And I was like, is there something wrong with this? She's like, she's like, I thought that you just made light coffee. I'm like, I don't know what happened. So I go and I look and I open up the coffee pot and inside the water somehow diverted around the coffee grounds.
Oh,
So it was basically Anna was drinking milk water. Like it was no coffee.
right.
But she was so sweet and she didn't say anything about it. She just politely drank it. And I giggled. I'm talking like tears like down my face. I am like cry laughing. She's laughing. I was like, how's that milk water? And like 3 or 4 hours later, I text her and I said, I am still in the best mood. Like my day started with disgusting coffee that we
Right.
belly laughed about. And it literally defined the rest of my day. I was so positive. I was so happy. I was so giggly. And the same thing happens with my children. If I take them out of their cribs in the morning and we sing songs and we giggle, they're happy. But if they were crying and I go in and I don't put in the effort and I just take them out of their cribs and bring them out, it's just a normal day.
Right.
And it really has been hitting home with me that if you have it's so cliche, like have a positive mindset, but if you are positive and you try to see that the funny, the nice, the sweet, if you can try, because I think it's a learned behavior. I
It
honestly
is.
think positivity is a learned behavior. And if you try, it will make or break your day.
Yeah.
And you can have crappy coffee at the same time.
I love that. Well, you can turn lemons into lemonade. You can turn milk water into a beautiful day. So
Right?
there's
I
that.
just, it just hit home for me that we giggled. And then it also just reminded me how much I love her because she was just too sweet to even say anything. I'm like, you're drinking that. That's horrible coffee. Like, I thought you just made it light today. You're so
That's
sweet.
great. That is absolutely great. I love that you shared a little bit about your story about how same kids came into being. And I love the thought of you hoarding in your guest room, right, with lots and lots of bags of clothing. But so that tells us a little bit about your why that same kids came into being. Is there anybody, if you think throughout your life, and Jess, I have the awesome gift of having seen you through multiple different ventures, right? And you've always put this great passion into things. In your life, if you think through it, right, are there people or particular things that have happened along the way that have inspired you into being who you are today?
I think that well, one, I'm an only child. You sit with me for 5 minutes and you realize that I like fit that definition to a T. And I, I was very spoiled, if you want to use that word, as a child. But I realized at a very young age that people would not say no to me if I asked for something that I didn't think that I deserved. And maybe I was arrogant in thinking I deserved everything. But my mom and my grandmother and my aunts are all very strong, into all of them like those women are very, very independent and strong in their opinions and their values, their beliefs, everything. And they're all different too, which is
That's
fascinating.
great.
And I think that having them be so supportive when I was so little, because I was the oldest grandchild. So I was around them, all the adults all the time.
Sure.
Um, and then them kind of pushing me to follow my dreams and to be also independent and to ask for things that I thought that I deserved, instead of being passive and sitting back and thinking like, oh, I'll wait my turn. And I don't really like that phrase, like wait your turn, but and I could get,
That doesn't shock me at all, by the way.
but I think that for me, I've been extremely influenced and inspired by strong, independent women that are not that are fearless. Because I don't like the terminology, I'm not confident. I don't have confidence. Well, I don't necessarily think that confidence is something that you gain without lacking fear, because I think you need to do it in
Right.
order to be confident. You can't just, the first time you rode a bike, you weren't confident. You couldn't have been. You've never done it before. So I think that having strong, independent female leaders that are fearless, that are not afraid to fail, not afraid to fall, and that are willing to pick themselves up and be like, man, let's just not do
Let's
that
go.
again.
Right.
Right? Do that again. I think that's kind of where I draw my inspiration, is trying to not be scared, to realize that, believe in yourself, and you need a group of people to look up to or to guide you. No one can be arrogant enough to think that they're just confident on their own.
Right.
Like, your values and your core of who you are came from your family. It came from your people,
Right.
What is
Whoever
that phrase?
those are.
It doesn't, aren't you supposed to, what is it? You become the 5 people you surround yourself with most. Is it 5?
Sure.
I
That
love
is,
that.
I do too. And I think that evolves over time, right? I mean, it can be those that you were surrounded with as a child, and others, maybe don't have that experience. It's a part of what I love about this show and bringing on different people from all walks, right? Not everybody had that growing up, but maybe as they got older, they had somebody come alongside them that has helped them with that. But I think that universally, everybody that I've talked to says there's somebody that they can point to who was that, as you describe, person that they look up to, that they go, I want to emulate that. I want to stand in the face of fear and do it anyway. I want to fall down and get back up again. I want, and there's been an encourager. And I know that that's who you want to be to other women today too, because you received that, which is awesome. So I love that you said, hey, I was an only child and I had all of this support and it was great, but surely there have been some obstacles along the way. Share what some obstacles may have been that you've had to overcome in your life.
In life or the company?
Either.
I think that I struggle with coming off as not being smart. I'm bubbly and loud and giggly and fun and bouncy, and but sometimes that can be portrayed as not very intelligent. And I think that for me, I have always, and even to this day, I catch myself, I ask questions that I know the answer to, but I'm still a little bit too afraid to give the answer myself, even though I know it. Because there is another quote. It was like, I would rather remain silent and look like a fool than to open my mouth and remove all doubt. So I would rather just
Right.
be quiet about it, and people be like, maybe she doesn't know the answer. And I think that has been one of my biggest obstacles and struggles within like my own personal growth, is to know that I am smart. I am educated. What I have to say is actually, it matters, and it's usable, and it can help people, and getting out of my own way. I think that part of the other like large struggle that I have is just being a female, being a woman entrepreneur, and feeling like there's this secret competition with men. And I know that that's a whole new other topic and is probably sensitive to men. And the men probably don't even think about it. Like, they're not competing with us. Why am I competing with anybody else? But I feel like I have something to prove. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because technically I don't have anything to prove to anyone but me. But maybe that lights the fire and
Sure.
maybe pushes me a little bit more. So I think that though, getting out of my own way and are my roadblocks, are my obstacles. And a lot of it has to do with a little bit of fear of
Well,
is believing in yourself.
absolutely. And I think that that's going to resonate with a lot of people that are listening, because the reality is male, female, doesn't matter. Every one of us has stories that play in our head that we need to overcome. Every one of us. If we're honest, we'll raise both of our hands and say, yeah, I have a struggle with regard to this that I say to myself. Everybody has those limiting beliefs that they need to overcome. So that's awesome that you shared that. When you think about your why, and I know that with regard to same kids, it's relatively new, right? But has that evolved over time already? When you think about that moment where you decided, hey, yeah, we need a marketplace that's not confusing, to where you've come to today, how has that evolved over
Oh
time?
my goodness. It literally started, Same Kids started with a solution to a problem. And then the why was like, well, okay, why do we need this? Well, because clothes are expensive. These moms can make some money by reselling clothes that they grow out of so fast. These other moms can buy clothes at a discounted price that are stylish and cute, that make them feel confident, make their kids feel confident. And that was my why. And then I'm like, well, why do I have to stop there? Let's create a resource page for moms to go to, because I see all the questions that they're asking and I know the answers. I can help them. And then it got bigger. The why became um, when I started this company, I put together a small team of women that are helping me, because I can't think that I can do this all myself. And one of the girls that I'm working with had been suggesting a few website developers. A couple of them were guys. And I was like, I never had a preference before, but why do I feel like I only want the ladies? Like, why
Right?
do I feel like I want to have all women who believe in this and know and like can feel like and can resonate with the fact that this is a resource for moms? I mean, moms of multiples, but it's for
Right?
moms. And so I ended up going with a web developer that is also a female. She's also a woman. And then it clicked. There are so many times in all of my moms groups that someone says, hey, do you know any moms that install wallpaper? Do you know any moms that put together bouquets? Do you know any moms? And I was like, oh my goodness, what if I add to my website? What if I add a section where it's moms supporting moms? And
It's
so I
fantastic.
did. It is called Just Between Moms.
That's
It's where you can search and support other mom entrepreneurs, where and the whole like mantra behind it is believe in me, because that's what we want. We want someone to believe in us.
And come alongside us. Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help these moms see that they have support and team around them and their dreams too. So it evolved from me wanting my spare bedroom back to me helping build these moms, make them understand that we believe in them too, that they need to believe in themselves, but we'll believe in them right behind them. And so I think that's how the why just kept getting bigger. I have so many more ideas that I just needed to.
Well, and I'm certain that it is going to continue to grow. I've no doubt. I often tell clients as we're working through figuring out, that initial why. Just it's gotta be something that creates that fire in your belly, right? That gets you up and gets you going, and you feel like you got a purpose and a reason. And going back to the definition of discipline, right? You're not going to do it without that. You need to have that drive. But that's a great lead into, because you're creating this environment that is an encouraging and inspiring space for women, moms, to connect, that understand one another and each other's struggles. I think that that is a phenomenal thing that you're doing. When you think about women who need to be encouraged, right, that are thinking about their own why and just trying to figure out taking those next steps, and maybe they're struggling with, oh, I don't know what to do or how to do it or whether this makes sense even. What words of encouragement might you have for them?
I feel like my whole career has been in the past and currently still in real estate. I love it. I love helping people, help them find houses and get into their dream home. But for some reason, there's something inside of me that knew that I was meant for more. That there was something out there that I could serve and help others more or on a different level. And I am now a mother of two children. Like, a lot of people start their careers in their 20s. I'm almost 20 years into that, right, and finally found this thing. And I feel like you just know, and gosh, is that annoying?
Right.
I think that because there's a book that I read, and I botched the author's name, so I'm not even going to say it, but it's called Letters to a Young Poet. And in the book, it basically says, like, if you wake up every day and this is what you think about, like, that's what you're supposed to do. I think that when I decided to start Same Kids, it is all I can think about. And I have not even looked at numbers. And I know that sounds crazy and probably not very good business sense, but I so passionately believe in this mission and serving moms that I don't care. I just know that it needs to be out there and that it needs to help moms. So I think that the words of encouragement for me to anyone else is just that if you feel it, if you know that this is what you're meant to do, you have to do it. Like, you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the community that you're trying to serve to be good at what you're going to do. Yeah. Put your heart and soul into it. You have to, because otherwise I feel like part of helping and serving others, sometimes I feel like it's selfishly rewarding because it makes me happy knowing that I'm making a difference. Yeah. I'm putting it out that, it just feels, when you're doing something good for other people, you almost feel guilty that you selfishly feel so good about it because you're doing something good. And I think that you have to get it out there. The world deserves to have what you're offering.
Well, the world needs that version of you, just like we talked about earlier, right? At the end of the day, everybody needs something different. And there's only one Jessica Kinsella. There's only one Carrie Guerrero. And there's somebody out there that needs what you have to give. And if it's on your mind and your heart and you can't let it go, it's probably a good likelihood that you're supposed to be doing something, right?
Even if it takes you forever to get there, even if it wasn't the idea that you came up with out of high school or out of college, like, everyone takes weird paths. And as much as I look back at my career and kind of my life's path, and I'm like, well, I wish that didn't happen, or I wish that didn't happen. The way that I look at it now with a positive, open eyes, basically, is that I'm glad that happened because that made me who I am today, which got me to where I'm at right now, which is going to give me everything I need to fulfill what I'm trying to do with Same Kids and the resources. So, looking back, I'm like, I'm actually happy that all that stuff happened because it defined me and I'm proud of that.
Right. That's a great place to arrive at and continue to grow from as we look at our life's experiences. Jess, is there anything that I haven't asked you that you want to be asked that we haven't referenced in what we've gone through so far today?
No, I don't think so. I think we hit on everything. I would just like to ask you a million questions. You're the one that has all the amazing resources. I want your book list. I want who I should be looking up online.
Well, you can watch for some of that on the Discovering Wise page, because we certainly are going to share a lot of that. Jess, how can we help you on this mission?
Honestly, I think that if anyone knows of a multiples mom that is either pregnant now or has children multiples, sending them to the website, letting them know that resources are there and that there are moms there that want to be a part of their journey of their, raising their kids. They want to help.
And
So
that
just
is
sending them
just
to the website.
and that's just samesamekids.com.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome.
My niece actually was the reason why I named the company Same Same Kids. The word same same came up way before I even got pregnant with the boys. We were at a family vacation with the Kinsellas in North Carolina, and my little doodle had sunglasses or goggles on.
Yeah.
So I put goggles on. And gosh, I think she was like 4 at the time. And she looked me in the face and goes, same, same. And I was like, it is the same same. You're so cute. And then from then on, I just same just sounded perfect. And then when I come up with a name for the company, I was like look alike or matching, coordinating. And then I was like twins this. I'm like, well, wait a minute. That's not fair, because there's triplets and there's quads and there's all of these different variations. And just because twins is more common of a multiples pregnancy, you can't, no, they don't, like the multiples group, they don't have enough resources out there. And then same just came into my head and I'm like, it's perfect.
So I love that.
It's just so sweet.
I absolutely love that, because that's just proof that it's a journey, right? And things from experiences from life all come together for this moment, for this time. Here they are. So for those who are listening, they can absolutely help and connect by going to samesamekids.com, and social media presence as well can find you there. We are so blessed to have been with you today, Jess. Thank you for
thank
joining
you.
us.
I loved it. The questions that you ask are so inspiring, because it allowed me to kind of have a little bit more clarity on what I actually think and what I actually feel, and being able to articulate that, get it out there and say it. I don't know. It just feels so good.
Well, we're grateful that you shared with us, and we look forward to having you on again down the road when your why is expanding even greater.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.